Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. 3 Kingdoms. Initially driven away by the Allied forces, creating the Great Qin Dynasty. Qin Xu travels through the end of the Han Dynasty. With his understanding of history, he first launched a campaign against Dong Zhuo, formed the 18-route alliance of Marquises, and became the overall commander of the coalition. He planned and strategized, and the coalition army advanced loudly, causing Dong Zhuo to retreat step by step and retreat back to Luoyang. Qin Xu was preparing to pacify Dong Zhuo in one fell swoop, but to his surprise, Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and others all launched a rebellion and drove him out of the coalition army. At this moment, the national transportation system of the Great Qin Dynasty began. He is actually the only legitimate descendant of Emperor Ying Zheng. The only descendant of the Great Qin Empire. Son Yingxu, unfilial son, see our ancestors' first emperor. I am willing to build a true iron-blooded dynasty in this chaotic era of the end of Han Dynasty. Let the Great Qin rise again. Since Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, Liu Bei and others are unable to protect China. Then let me Qin Xu come. Let me build the Great Qin Empire and revitalize my magnificent China. Until one day, Qin Xu ascended to the throne as emperor and his identity was exposed. Cao Cao. Puff. Liu Bei. Died from vomiting blood. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 3. Cut off Cao Cao and build the Great Qin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know either. Do Xiang you still have any descendants to survive in the world? Qin Xu squinted his eyes. If we can use the power of a hegemon to sweep through the descendants of Xiang Yu. That would be interesting. Wait a minute. How can there be Cao Cao's 1,000-mile BMW invincible in the rewards? Also promoted to an ancient divine horse chasing electricity. Cao Cao treats this peerless figure, but the treasure must be tight. Even Cao Cao's confidant Xiahou was not allowed to touch. Did he actually get it? Isn't Cao Cao going to be so heartbroken? Jiehu Cao Cao, obtain Cao Cao's unique image. That doesn't mean. He can get the reward of the person who has been intercepted by cutting off his beard. His Qin Xu lightly stroked his chin, his eyes filled with excitement. In this way, he is not tired anymore. In today's world, beautiful women are like clouds, and fierce generals are like rain. If he cuts off his beard one by one, wouldn't he receive countless rewards? Qin Xu looked up at Dian Wei. Now Dian Wei is beside him, and it's not convenient for him to claim rewards. His brow furrowed slightly. Immediately raise your hand and point to the left. Dian Wei, if what I expected is correct, Yuan Shu's pursuers should have arrived. You go take a look. Chasing. Chasing soldiers. Dian Wei was stunned. He has been practicing the Halberd technique since childhood, with his ears and eyes sharp, and is incomparable to ordinary people. Despite this, there was no sound of the pursuers. When did this pursuer come? But when he thought of Qin Xu's usual magic, Dian Wei had no doubt at all. He had a fierce look in his eyes and hummed. How dare he? If Yuan Shu dares to send troops and horses to come, Lao Dian, won't let him go first. At present, he carried his double halberds and walked towards the shallow slope on the side. Qin Xu saw Dian Wei walking away and immediately silently recited in his heart. System, claim rewards. Ding, the system's rewards have been distributed. The ancient divine horse, chasing electric, has been summoned and will arrive at the host's side within 15 minutes. Qin Xu's mind twitched. His attribute bar appeared in front of him. Name. Qin Xu, Zi Zhao age. 16 years old command. 65 force. 50 intelligence. 85 Internal affairs. 65 Item. None. The sound of the system just fell off. A warm current rushed into Qin Su's body. The force value in his attribute bar is crazily starting to climb. In just a few breaths, it climbed directly from the original 50 to 108. Kaka kaka, his body emitted a burst of bone roar. At the same time, his muscles, flesh, and internal organs are all undergoing earth-shattering changes. Even his height has been raised by a few points. Qin Su lightly grasped it with his right hand. Boom! The air was suddenly squeezed and exploded. A burst of air roar echoed in his ears. So strong. Qin Su was extremely excited. Never before has it been as powerful as it is now. There seems to be infinite power within him. Even a galloping bison could be killed with a single punch. Qin Su's mind twitched. The ancient divine weapon's three-pointed two-edged halberd appeared in his hand. He waved his right hand casually. Shit! The stone in front of me was split in half. The incision is as smooth as a mirror. At this moment, in Qin Su's heart, infinite passion emerged. The scenes seen in later historical books appeared before his eyes. The rebellion of the 8 kings. Wuhu Wanhua. The land of China sinks. The land of China will fall into the darkest era. All the Chinese people will become two-legged sheep. It's almost extinct. If he doesn't do something, isn't it in vain for him to travel through a journey? If he doesn't do something, won't he let down the just awakened system? If he doesn't do something, how can he deserve the generous gift from the 18-route Marquis alliance? Since people like Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, and Liu Bei are unable to assist, then let me come. Let me, Qin Su, revive this magnificent China. Let me, Qin Su, recreate the tyranny and majesty of my Great Qin Empire. Let me, Qin Su, establish the Great Qin Empire that dominates the world. In the sky, the sunlight broke through thick dark clouds and scattered on the ground. Shine brightly ahead. Just like, the future of his Great Qin Empire is as bright as this road ahead. Step by step a roar of horse hooves sounded. Dian Wei's thunderous roar followed suit. Lord, look, Yuan Shu has really sent someone here. Qin Su looked up. In the distance, a troop rushed towards the direction of the coalition army. The person in front of him, holding a large knife, galloped wildly on his horse. He is the great general under Yuan Shu, Zhang Sun. Behind him, there were still 1,000 soldiers and horses. Did you indeed come? He has already left the coalition, yet he still refuses to let him go. Qin Su's eyes narrowed slightly. He has been in the coalition for a long time, so naturally he knows Zhang Sun. Zhang Sun was a trusted general under Yuan Shu's command. The status is still above Ji Ling. Zhang Sun's big knife pointed at Qin Su from a distance. Qin Su, where can I go? Dare to disrespect my lord, come over and suffer death quickly. Yuan Shu thinks I'm disrespectful to him. Interesting. Together, he threw me 50 copper coins and drove me away from the feudal alliance. Can I still kneel and lick him? Is this the face of a noble family? Qin Su raised his eyebrows. Dare to be arrogant in front of me. Then don't think about leaving. The sound of the system echoed in his mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the Great Qin National Transport Mission. First battle. Task objective. Yuan Shu thinks you have offended him and sends Zhang Sun to pursue him. The host needs to kill Zhang Sun. Unknown reward for successful task, no penalty for failure. Chapter 1. Being driven out of the coalition army, I turned out to be the legitimate heir of the first emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the year 191 AD. It is known as the second year of Chu Ping in history. 18 feudal lords gathered together. General Qin Xu strategized and the alliance army marched forward with great fanfare. Dong Zhuo retreated step by step and retreated back to Luoyang city. The situation of the alliance army is very good. The army tent of the 18 rout feudal lords. Qin Xu looked at the 50 copper coins that Yuan Shu had thrown into his hand. What are you saying? You sent me away with just 50 copper coins. He was originally a person of later generations. It has been 16 years since I traveled to the end of the Han Dynasty. Half a year ago. With his understanding of history, he took Cao Cao's lead and issued a proclamation against Dong. Subsequently, Cao Cao responded. All parties responded. Now, with the grand event of 18 feudal lords jointly attacking Dong Zhuo. And he was also appointed as the overall commander of the alliance army. After that, Qin Xu successively devised clever strategies and strategized, causing Dong Zhuo's army to retreat step by step. Nowadays, Dong Zhuo's army is even more restrained in Luoyang and dare not engage in direct confrontation with the alliance army. Today is Qin Xu's 16th birthday. He is full of energy. Prepared to take down Luoyang city in one fell swoop and lay the foundation for victory. To celebrate his 16th birthday. But who ever thought? Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, Yuan Shu, and others actually wanted to use 50 copper coins to drive him away. His gaze swept over Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, Liu Bei, Yuan Shu, and others. I see. Qin Xu looked up at the sky and smiled long. He mistakenly believed that figures like Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, and Liu Bei were outstanding figures of the time. For over half a year, I have been providing advice and strategies for the alliance of feudal lords, helping the alliance to achieve consecutive victories and establish a strong victory in one fell swoop. But in the end, they ended up in such a situation. Qin Xu's mind flickered, his gaze fixed on Cao Cao, and he already had an idea in his heart. Since Cao is deceiving you, you are naturally suspicious. That's just right. I will use this as a last resort. At present, Qin Xu sighed with emotion. Anyway. Before leaving, I have a message to share. Dong Zhuo's great defeat, knowing that Luoyang is safe to defend, will definitely move the capital to Chang'an. If you don't want all your previous efforts to be wasted, you should quickly advance to Luoyang. Otherwise, what awaits you may be the ruins of Luoyang city after the fire. As soon as these words were spoken, there was an uproar in the big tent. Even a mere commoner dares to speak nonsense here. Nonsense. Dong Zhuo dares to move the capital. He also dares to set fire to Luoyang. Isn't he afraid to bear the world's reputation? How tedious is the matter of relocating the capital. Even if Dong Thief wants to move, others will definitely not agree. Qin Xu looked around and caught a glimpse of the expressions of the feudal lords. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Seeing Qin Xu's smile, Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, and others felt a thump in their hearts. This smile is so familiar to them. Every time, as long as Qin Xu shows such a smile, their opponents will understand Qin Xu's plan. Qin Xu ignored it no longer. While everyone in the tent was clamoring and arguing endlessly, he waved his hand. Rush out the door immediately. Sitting on a warhorse, gazing at the distant Chinese army tent. Qin Xu's right hand gave a firm grip. Today's humiliation, Qin Xu, must be repaid. A systematic sound echoed in Qin Xu's mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the Great Qin national transportation system. When the national fortune of the Great Qin improves, the host will receive corresponding rewards. It's been 16 years. It's been a full 16 years. His system has finally arrived. But when Qin Xu heard the name of the system clearly, he was stunned. The Great Qin National Transportation System. His Qin Xu took a cold breath. The Great Qin no longer exists. Nowadays, it is already the end of the Han Dynasty. What's the use of awakening the Great Qin national transportation system of Shalazi? Can't he be surnamed Qin, just awaken the national transportation system of the Great Qin? For over 400 years, does the Qin still have national luck? Qin Su opened the system and looked closely. It was only then that it was discovered that the national luck of the Great Qin was only at the first level. That national fortune has become so thin that it almost crumbles. On the other hand, looking at the Han Dynasty. Although Dong Thief is now in power and the Han Dynasty is in turmoil, there are still 5 levels of national fortune. That country's fortune is quite solid, although the sun is setting in the west. But it is not comparable to the current Great Qin. The urgent task is to enhance the national fortune of the Great Qin. However, he is not a direct descendant of the first emperor. The second is not a descendant of the imperial family of the Great Qin Empire. Mo Fei. Can we still imitate Qin Shi Huang and rebuild the Great Qin Empire? Thinking of this, Qin Su couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart. Ding, it has been detected that the host is the only legitimate descendant of Emperor Ying Zheng and the only descendant of the imperial family of the Great Qin Empire, triggering a long-term mission of the Great Qin national transportation system. Lied down in a big groove. He, Qin Su, is actually the only legitimate descendant of the first Emperor Ying Zheng. The only descendant of the imperial family of the Great Qin Empire. Why doesn't he know? Qin Su frowned slightly. In my mind, the experiences of these 16 years come to mind one by one. For the past 16 years, Qin Su and his father have been dependent on each other. There is also an old slave named Yingxu at home. It seems like there's nothing special about it either. Wait, Qin Su's heart was pounding wildly. Uncle Zhong's name is Meng Zhong. My surname is Meng. Could it be that he is a descendant of General Meng Tian of the Great Qin Empire? Good guy. The loyal servant Yingxu, who has been serving him all along and is extremely humble, actually has such an impressive identity. Thinking again, their unique way of offering sacrifices. Do you think it makes sense? Qin Su's heart stirred up towering waves. Close together. Every ritual. His father would make him pay homage to the plaque of Emperor Ying Zheng. Isn't it because their ancestors were deeply favored by Emperor Ying Zheng? But it's because the first emperor, Ying Zheng, is fundamentally the ancestor of their family. Chapter 4. Is this a military commander? Dian Wei is confused. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Su's mouth curved slightly. Is the reward still far behind when the task comes? Zhang Sun pointed his big knife at Qin Su and laughed wildly. My lord is the legitimate descendant of the Yuan family, with 4 generations and 3 dukes. He has a wide range of family members and old officials throughout the world. Qin Su, as the chief military commander, you just don't want to serve your master well. Surprisingly, he still dares to repeatedly steal my lord's attention, making my lord unable to stand down. Like you deserve to be driven out of the feudal alliance by my lord. Dian Wei was furious at the words. How dare you humiliate my lord, you scumbag. You don't want to live anymore. Qin Su, however, raised the corner of his mouth. If you are willing to serve your master, you can go and serve the Marquis yourself. I'm a natural knee too hard to kneel down. Zhang Sun looked at Qin Su's knee and frowned. That's it, it's okay not to kneel. You just need to be loyal to my lord, and he will open up a path for you. Give me a way out. Qin Su laughed angrily at Zhang Sun's foolishness. I will also give this sentence to your lord Yuan Shu. He raised his hand and pointed to the soldiers under Zhang Sun's command. Remember to tell Yuan Shu after you have fled and lost. If he were to be loyal to me today, perhaps I would consider opening up and giving him a way out. He furrowed his brows slightly, looking lost in thought. My lord has a large quantity, let Yuan Shu become a groom. What a great courage. Zhang Sun shouted loudly. I am on the brink of death, yet I am not aware of it. In vain, you are still the chief commander of the feudal alliance. Just at this moment. Step by step a rhythmic sound of horse hooves sounded. Zhang Sun turned his head curiously to look around. In the distance, a black flame swept towards them with a blazing force. He fixed his gaze on it. Only then did I realize that it was a completely black warhorse. In the midst of four hooves flipping, the pure black mane on my body fluttered in the wind. What a BMW horse. Zhang Sun's eyes were full of greed. This horse is probably a rare BMW in the world. His divine steed is far above his lord's warhorse. If this divine horse can be taken as one's own, then his combat power will surely surpass Ji Ling and become the first person under Yuan Shu's command. Looking at the galloping divine horse, Qin Su's eyes lit up. This is probably the divine horse chasing after the electricity. Sure enough, it's a good horse. This system is capable of handling rewards, it really gives. The divine horse does not live up to the name of chasing electricity. At an unparalleled speed. In just a few breaths, he had already arrived in front of Qin Su. Heir. It let out a hiss. Immediately, he knelt down with both hooves and knelt directly in front of Qin Su. Qin Su raised his hand and caressed the head of the divine horse chasing after the electricity. With this ancient divine horse in hand, he cannot go anywhere in the world. Dian Wei was stunned. Is this the divine horse recognizing its master? He widened his huge eyes and said in a daze. Lord! Lord, what kind of horse is this? Qin Su stroked the silk-like mane of chasing Dian while chuckling lightly. This is the ancient divine horse chasing electricity. Ancient divine horses chasing electricity. Indeed, it is a divine horse. Dian Wei couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Everyone says that Lu Bu's Red Rabbit horse is the world's #1 BMW. To be honest, Lu Bu's Red Rabbit horse is not enough to look at in front of the Lord's divine horse chasing after electricity. Zhang Sun was also completely dumbfounded. What is the situation? Why is that divine horse kneeling directly in front of Qin Su? This is too unbelievable. But soon, his heart moved. Is the divine horse chasing electricity? It is indeed an unparalleled divine horse in the world. Cao Cao often praises his BMW Phantom. The speed of Zhuiying is unparalleled in the world. But the speed of chasing electricity in front of me is more than twice that of Zhuiying. Watching such a divine horse fall into the hands of Qin Su. The jealousy in Zhang Sun's heart was raging. Qin Su, if you hand over the divine horse chasing electricity, I will plead with my lord and let you have a way out. Qin Su's face turned watery and he sneered. You deserve it. Zhang Sun was so angry that his face and ears turned red. Qin Su was the overall commander of the coalition army and had no last resort. If it were usual, he would only flatter. But today is different from the past. He said shyly and angrily. Toast not to eat, eat fine wine. Today next year will be your anniversary. Noisy. Before Zhang Sun could finish speaking, he was mercilessly interrupted by Qin Su. He hooked his finger towards Zhang Sun. Zhang Sun was furious. I will definitely kill you. Dian Wei held his double halberds and protected Qin Su in front of him. Master, hurry up and leave. Let me Lao Dian hold them back. No need. Just a mere Zhang Sun. Qin Su waved his three-pointed, two-edged halberd and smiled nonchalantly. Today, let him take the lead on my three-pointed, two-edged halberd. Dian Wei only then realized. Why did Qin Su have such a domineering long halberd in his hand? It has to be said. The appearance of the protagonist holding a long halberd exudes a majestic aura, making him highly respected. Dian Wei's expression was stunned. Isn't the Lord a military strategist? What's the use of this long halberd? A hint of coldness appeared at the corner of Qin Su's mouth. At this moment, his strength has greatly improved, and he happens to use this sun to practice his skills. Just take it as it is. For the face that Yuan Shu just threw money at him, let's charge some interest first. He flipped over and chased after the divine horse, charging towards Zhang Sun. Dian Wei came to his senses. I saw that Qin Su had already dismounted and rushed towards Zhang Sun's direction. Lied down in a big groove. When did Lord become so fierce? This is still the one sitting in the middle army. Between chatting and laughing, repel Liu Bei. Is it the chief commander who defeated countless soldiers and horses of Dong Zhuo? Chapter 2. Conquering Dian Wei and Descendants of the Mongolian Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That doesn't mean. Qin Su is just his pseudonym. His real name is Yingxu. Qin Su pressed down on the excitement in his heart. Now his father is no longer here. Uncle Zhong has been serving the Qin family for generations. I think Uncle Zhong should know the details. After he returns, he must ask Uncle Zhong a good question. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the long-term mission of the Great Qin National Transportation System. Rebuilding the Great Qin Empire. Task objective. To emulate our ancestor Emperor Ying Zheng and build the Great Qin Empire. Successful tasks will receive massive rewards, while failures will have no punishment. Good guy. I'm just a good guy. His long-term mission is actually to build the Great Qin Empire. Will you receive massive rewards for successfully building the Great Qin Empire? Seeing a few words of massive rewards, Qin Su couldn't help but drool. It's just a pity. Now, the chaotic times are approaching. He has no strength, no power, and no military supplies. A proper no personnel. Now, they have been driven out of the coalition forces again. Why did he establish the Great Qin Empire? With his skill, is it a unique skill that he has practiced for 2 lifetimes? Master, wait for me. A thunderous sound echoed behind him. Qin Su turned his head and looked around. I saw Dian Wei, who was 9 feet tall, rushing towards him with his black iron twin halberds on his back. Master, I can be considered catching up with you. Where are you going? I'll go with you, Lao Dian. Qin Su smiled bitterly and shook his head. Dian Wei, I'm no longer a military strategist. I don't care. In my heart, you are the truly capable person. He is also someone who truly treats me well. Dian Wei hummed and said. I just want to follow you. Looking at the sincere Dian Wei on his face, Qin Su was slightly moved. I'm alone now, do you want to think clearly? The strength of Dian Wei is beyond doubt. Even if you look at the whole world, you can still rank among the top 3. Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, Yuan Shu, and others were all envious. I've come here more than once to dig corners. Dian Wei nodded solemnly. Military strategist, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been just a big head soldier. In my life, I have recognized you. Wherever you go, I'll follow you. I don't know how to handle it, but I can handle it with all my might. He paused and tentatively asked. How about I worship you as my lord? Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, and Yuan Shu had numerous troops and horses under their command. But he was alone. In such a situation, how could Dian Wei still be willing to follow him? It's not in vain for him to have promoted Dian Wei from the army of Zhang Miao. Looking at the cautious Dian Wei, a hint of relief flashed in Qin Su's heart. The sound of the system echoed in his mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the Great Qin Kingdom's mission. Evil of the Ancient. Task objective. Dian Wei is brave and powerful, with unparalleled infantry combat strength, intercepting Cao Cao and bringing the ancient villain Dian Wei under his command. Unknown reward for successful task, no penalty for failure. Conquering Dian Wei, surprisingly able to complete the mission of transporting the Great Qin state. What else is there to hesitate about? Qin Xu nodded and said. Dian Wei, if you insist, I am also willing to accept you. However, from now on, you will have to listen to me for all matters. Can you possibly do it? Dian Wei's face showed a look of ecstasy. Since Qin Xu transferred him to his side, he has always wanted to worship Qin Xu as his lord. But every time, Qin Xu never agreed. And now, surprisingly, did you really agree? Master, rest assured. Dian Wei seemed afraid that Qin Xu would retract, so he quickly patted his chest. My dear, from now on, everything will be under the Lord's command. My lord asked me to go east, I will never go west. My lord asked me to take one step forward, I will not take another half step. With a splash. He knelt down straight on the ground, paying homage to Qin Xu. My subordinate Dian Wei, pay respects to the Lord. He not only gained the loyalty of Dian Wei, but also used it to complete the mission of transporting the Great Qin state. I don't know, what kind of reward will I receive? Qin Xu was curious in his heart. On his face, he remained expressionless. He stepped forward and helped Dian Wei up. Dian Wei, please get up quickly. The sound of the system echoed in his mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for subduing Dian Wei and completing the mission of the Great Qin Dynasty. Evil of the Ancient. Received task rewards. Overlord Power, Ancient Divine Weapon 3-pointed 2-edged Halberd, Cao Cao's 1000-mile BMW Invincible Shadow, National Luck Points 3000 points. Zhu was nurtured by the great fortune of the Qin dynasty and automatically promoted to the position of the first emperor, Ying Zheng's chariot. The Ancient Divine Horse chased after the electricity. Ancient Divine Horse chasing electricity. Full of pure black, without any impurities, as fast as lightning, traveling thousands of miles a day but leisurely. Absolutely loyal to the host. May I ask if you have received it? Qin Xu's heart was pounding wildly. The power of dominance. The Ancient Divine Weapons 3-pointed 2-edged Halberd. Ancient Divine Horses chasing electricity. Surprisingly, it is still the mount of our ancestor Emperor Ying Zheng. The task reward for subduing Dian Wei is so generous. If we complete the task of building the national fortune of the Great Qin Empire, how generous should the reward be? Qin Xu's eyes were extremely hot. He has already made up his mind. He has established the Great Qin Empire. Chapter 5. Slaying the enemy with one halberd, the talent of Emperor Ying Zheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He's not dreaming, is he? Dian Wei rubbed his eyes vigorously. As far as I can see, it is still exactly the same as before. Dian Wei suddenly became anxious. Master, danger, wait for me. He, who is eager to protect the Lord, dare not stay any longer. Quickly carrying the Xian iron double halberds, he stepped forward and rushed towards Qin Xu's direction. Zhang Sun across from him was completely confused. He lifted the big knife in his hand and stared blankly at the scene before him. For the past 6 months. As a confidant of Yuan Shu, he has always followed him. Naturally, I also witnessed Qin Xu, and with a wave of my hand, I greatly defeated the prestige of Dong Zhuo's army. But precisely because of prolonged contact. He only then understood that Qin Xu was a weak scholar with no binding power. Qin Xu has just left the tent again, and there is no one under his command available. Otherwise, even if I borrow 10 courage from him, I dare not come. But what kind of ghost is this scene before us? Is Qin Xu, a weak scholar with no strength to bind chickens, carrying a domineering long halberd? What the hell is this doing? Is it possible that there is fraud? Thinking about the past, Qin Xu had no last resort. Zhang Sun was frightened into a cold sweat. He quickly turned his head and looked around. Seeing that there were not many people around, I felt a little relieved. Zhang Sun patted his thigh. Turned sorrow into joy. He was worried about encountering Dian Wei and didn't know how to solve Qin Xu. He has also heard of Dian Wei's ferocity. If he were to confront Dian Wei head-on, it would undoubtedly be an egg hitting a stone. But if it were, deal with Qin Xu who is powerless. He that's naturally easy to catch. Thinking like this, Zhang Sun grinned. Bravado. Don't think you can scare me with a long halberd. Does a military commander also want to kill the enemy? Are you afraid you're not crazy? He turned his head and looked at the group of soldiers behind him. A weak chicken like him, who has no strength to bind a chicken, should serve the Marquis Lord well on the side. Do you think so? A group of soldiers burst into laughter. The strategist's advice is not just a matter of serving as a marquis. The general's words are very accurate. The general is right. They all started to coax. Qin Xu was completely ignored. Qin Xu had no waves on his face. He galloped on his horse and said indifferently. Are you crazy? Just give it a try and you'll know. Zhang Sun laughed back in anger. Since Qin Xu came to die, that's just right. Once I solve you, you can go back and report. Seeing Qin Xu getting closer and closer, Zhang Sun waved his big knife and raised it high. I will chop Qin Xu off the horse. He has been following Yuan Shu for over a decade. Over the past decade or so, he has killed countless enemies. Repeated military achievements. Only then can he become a trusted general of Yuan Shu. In his opinion, Qin Xu in front of me is just here to deliver vegetables. Qin Xu waved his hand casually. Shua. The three-pointed, two-edged halberd in his hand turned into a dazzling halberd light. With a whistling sound, piercing through the void. In the blink of an eye, it had already swept towards Zhang Sun's neck. What a fast speed! Zhang Sun was shocked and pale. He quickly waved his big knife in his hand, trying to block the halberd. But the speed of this halberd far exceeded Zhang Sun's imagination. Between lightning and flint, the three-pointed two-edged halberd had already swept across Zhang Sun's neck. Zhang Sun's eyes glared fiercely at the garden. I looked at the scene before me with disbelief. Feeling the threat of death, he screamed mournfully. No. Immediately, Zhang Sun only felt a chill in his neck. A huge head has already risen into the sky. Before death, countless thoughts rushed into my head. How could it be? How could this be possible? One halberd. Just one halberd. He was killed. Isn't Qin Xu a weak scholar with no strength to bind his hands? Why is there such a powerful force? Behind Zhang Sun, the 1,000 soldiers who were causing a commotion were all stunned. They were like ducks choked on their necks, with their mouths wide open and their eyes almost falling out. Shocked. I can't believe it. Everyone has a ghostly expression. Dian Wei was also completely confused. He opened his mouth wide, his chin almost falling to the ground. Zhang Sun was a great general under Yuan Shu's command. Highly valued by Yuan Shu. Although not as strong as him. But anyway, there is still some strength in second-rate generals. But Lord, surprisingly, he only used one move to solve Zhang Sun. Is this still the weak scholar with no strength to bind a chicken? Is it true that the Lord has been hiding his foolishness all along? Dian Wei's eyes sparkled with pure light. He became obsessed with martial arts throughout his life. Seeing Qin Xu's amazing military prowess, I couldn't help but feel excited for a moment. In the future, I will not lack people to compete. It's really wise to join Qin Xu's army on your own. Dian Wei was extremely excited. He let out a loud roar. Waving the black iron twin halberds in his hand, he rushed into the Yuan army. The black iron twin halberds in his hand flipped up and down. Wherever they passed, all the soldiers of Yuan were beheaded. The soldiers of Yuan were already scared out of their wits by Qin Xu. At this moment, I was even more shocked. I don't know who shouted loudly. "Run away, help me." They dare not stay any longer, shouting and fleeing in all directions. The sound of the system echoed in Qin Xu's mind. "Ding, congratulations to the host for killing Zhang Sun and completing the mission of the Great Qin Dynasty. To kill General Zhang Sun under Yuan Shu. Received task reward. First Emperor Ying Zheng talent. Dominant, 3,000 members of the Royal Guards, 2,000 points for national luck." Chapter 6. The appearance of the Royal Guards. Has Zhu Di arrived? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Emperor Shi Huang's innate domineering talent. Able to form a certain range of pressure, intimidate and suppress those around him. The 3,000 royal guards are absolutely loyal to their host. May I ask if they are summoned? When Qin Xu saw the first reward, he was all excited. Emperor Ying Zheng's talent. Dominance. Line trough. Produced by the first emperor, it must be a masterpiece. He actually obtained the talent of his ancestor, Emperor Ying Zheng. This is to allow him to inherit the power of his ancestor, Emperor Ying Zheng. Revitalize China. But soon, Qin Xu's pupils suddenly shrank. The second reward in the system is actually 3,000 royal guards. This reward came just in time. Under his command, there is a shortage of troops and horses. The system sent 3,000 brocade guards. Isn't it because I was dozing off and brought a pillow? Qin Xu was extremely excited. The main functions of the Jin Wei are to oversee the direct driving of guards, patrol and arrest. He is also a top-notch expert in intelligence and undercover operations. It's truly omnipotent. For him today, he is the most suitable. Qin Xu did not hesitate at all, as he silently recited in his heart. System, summon the royal guards. Ding, the royal guards have been successfully summoned and will appear next to the host within 100 breaths. Roaming and rumbling in the distance, a neat formation rushed towards Qin Xu's direction. Jian Wei turned his head and looked around. I saw 3,000 genie guards, all dressed in flying fish uniforms, with embroidered spring knives hanging from their waists. Running towards here. Although they run at an extremely fast speed, their formation is not at all chaotic. At a glance, it looks as neat as one. Give people a different kind of shock. Seeing this scene, Jian Wei's heart trembled. He tightened his black iron double halberds and protected Qin Xu in front of him. Master, be very careful. Another terrifying army has arrived. Qin Xu took a panoramic view of the distant scene. His lips curled slightly. Is this the royal guards? Indeed, it does not disappoint the reputation of the royal guards. He waved his hand and said. It's okay. Jian Wei doesn't need to be nervous. Jian Wei dared not relax at all. The number of soldiers and horses in this army is only 3,000. But that momentum was the only thing he had ever seen in his life. It is the elite in the alliance of feudal lords. It's far from being a match for this army. Especially the commander at the forefront of that army. The aura on that body is so powerful. Even Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, and others are far inferior. Make him feel palpitations. Qin Xu lifted his eyelids slightly. His gaze also fell directly in front of the 3,000 brocade guards. That is a young man over 8 feet tall with a handsome face. Between the lines, there was an aura of being in a superior position around oneself. This kind of momentum can only be cultivated by those who have been in high positions for years. Looking at the world. There are very few who can have such an imposing presence. Is this the commander of the 3,000 royal guards? Just, who is this person? Why is there such a terrifying aura? Qin Xu was filled with curiosity. The speed of the 3,000 royal guards is extremely fast. However, in just a few dozen breaths, he had already rushed to Qin Xu's front. With a splash. The young man at the beginning knelt down straight on the ground. Respectfully, there is no way out. Zhu Di, commander of the royal guards, led 3,000 royal guards to pay respects to the Lord. Please review it, Lord. Pop, 3,000 members of the royal guards all knelt respectfully in front of Qin Xu. Their movements are as neat as one person. 3,000 members of the royal guards, pay respects to the Lord. Please review it, Lord. 3,000 voices come together, echoing through the sky. Dian Wei's whole body trembled with drama. Kneeling down. This young man, along with 3,000 elite soldiers and horses behind him. Surprisingly. Did you kneel directly? His eyes were wide open, his mouth wide open enough to fit an egg. When did the young master train such a terrifying Jin Wei? This momentum is too strong. Zhu Di. Qin Xu's eyelids twitched wildly. Good guy. The commander of the royal guards is actually Zhu Di. Isn't Zhu Di the great emperor of Yongle? How did you become the commander of the royal guards? However, for this matter, he couldn't help but beg for it. Zhu Di is proficient in both literature and martial arts. Both governance and military capabilities can be considered top-notch. He personally sailed 5 times. With its own strong strength. With one's own strength, we have created a prosperous era of Yongle. Its ability is to look at the entire China. Can all rank among the top. Make a lot of money. Qin Xu's heart was filled with surprises. The Yongle Emperor, who is absolutely loyal and has explosive abilities. In addition, 3,000 loyal genie guards. It's simply worth it. He lifted his right hand lightly and said lightly. Zhu Di, please get up first. Thank you, Lord. Zhu Di said respectfully. He stood up and respectfully stood beside Qin Xu. Dian Wei suppressed the restlessness in his heart and hummed. Master, where are we going next? Qin Xu's gaze turned towards the direction of Luoyang. Under his scheme, Dong Zhuo retreated step by step and was trapped in Luoyang. If he leaves like this, isn't it in vain to put in more than 6 months of effort before? He held a 3-pointed, 2-edged halberd and pointed to Luoyang. Let's go there, Luoyang City. Chapter 8. The lords were frightened and Cao Cao died. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The others, such as Kong Ting and Zhang Miao, nodded in agreement one by one. The words of the alliance leader and brother Mengda are very accurate. I see, no wonder Qin Xu mentioned before leaving that he was setting a trap for us. The leader is indeed wise. Yuan Shao felt refreshed. The feeling of being dominated by Qin Xu all along was swept away. He picked up the wine bottle. Come on, brother Mengda, let's both have a drink. Immediately, he looked at Kong Qian, Zhang Miao, Xiao Mao, and others. Come, let's all drink this cup together. Suddenly, a soldier ran into the central army tent in panic. He approached Yuan Shu and reported. General, things are not going well. Our troops sent to pursue Qin Xu have failed. Yuan Shao and Cao Cao's faces couldn't help but twitch. Qi whispered in secret. Damn it. When Yuan Shu sent his troops to attack and kill Qin Xu before, they knew about it. They are also happy to see it succeed. It can solve the future problem of Qin Xu. It won't damage their reputation. Why not do it? Unexpectedly, the person sent by Yuan Shu to attack and kill failed. Yuan Shu, how foolish you must be. Can't even Qin Xu, who is powerless, solve it. Can't you send a capable general to attack and kill? Yuan Shu exclaimed in surprise. What? What are you saying? Zhang Sun went to kill Qin Su, but surprisingly failed. He frowned. Where is Zhang Sun? Let him come and see me quickly. The soldier swallowed a mouthful of water and trembled in his voice. General Zhang Sun. He's dead. Clattering. Yuan Shu's eyes glared fiercely at the garden, his eyeballs almost falling out. The wine bottle in his hand fell to the ground and spilled all over his body. But he didn't have the heart to pay attention. I just stared and exclaimed in surprise. What are you saying? Has Zhang Sun died? He stared closely at the soldier, his eyes full of disbelief. Zhang Sun is a trusted general under his command. His strength is only below that of Ji Ling. And Qin Su was just a strategist without a chicken in his hand. There are no available soldiers under my command. How could he possibly kill Zhang Sun? Yuan Shao's heart trembled. A meal in the wine bottle at the mouth. Zhang Sun, who was the top general of Yuan Shu, actually died. How could this be possible? He looked at Cao Cao, only to find that he was also looking towards him with a skeptical expression. Yuan Shu said with a cold expression on his face. Tell me, how did Zhang Sun die? General Zhang Sun, he was beheaded by Qin Su with one halberd, the soldier said in a trembling voice. A bunch of nonsense. Yuan Shu slammed the table and became furious. Qin Su is just a weak scholar. But Zhang Sun is my trusted general. Throughout my life, I have never been defeated on the battlefield. You tell me, Qin Su killed Zhang Sun with one halberd. What are you joking about? Yuan Shao, who was sitting in the main seat, was also startled. The wine bottle in his hand trembled. But soon, he couldn't help but sneer. Qin Su killed Zhang Sun with one halberd. Yuan Gaodao, you must be joking with me. With Qin Su's military strength, it was even difficult to kill a chicken, and he could still kill Zhang Sun. It's extreme. Cao Cao stroked his beard and chuckled lightly. Qin Su is just a weak scholar, why did he have a long halberd? If you're not aware, you might think you've met Liu Bei. He shook his head, his heart filled with disdain. Yuan Shu, the fourth generation and 3 nobles, had a great family background and connections, and everything was excellent. It's just a pity. Yuan Shu is an ignorant and incompetent person. Even the soldiers under his command are full of lies. Liu Bei and Guan Yu exchanged a glance. You can see a smile in the other person's eyes. Qin Su's small physique, can one halberd kill Zhang Sun? Don't joke anymore. Zhang Fei shouted loudly. If he could really kill Zhang Sun with one halberd, wouldn't his strength be similar to mine, old Zhang? The veins on Yuan Shu's forehead were bulging. Tell me, what's going on? The soldier knelt down on the ground, repeatedly reassuring. Lord, what the villain says is true. This matter was witnessed by a petty person with their own eyes, and they dare not conceal anything. Bang bang. The wine bottle in Yuan Shao's hand fell to the ground. The alcohol splashed onto his beloved robe. He was completely unaware. I just widened my eyes and stared blankly at the soldier in front of Yuan Shu. Cao Cao shook his hand. The chopsticks in my hand fell to the ground. He was really scared. Zhang Sun was a great general under Yuan Shu's command. Although their strength is not as good as Xiahou and Xiahou Yuan, they cannot be underestimated. Even if it were him, it would be extremely difficult to surpass Zhang Sun. But now, surprisingly, Qin Su killed Zhang Sun with one halberd. That doesn't mean. Is Qin Su's military power still far superior to him? Liu Bei's heart trembled greatly. Is Qin Su's military force so terrifying? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Qin Xu is just a weak scholar. It is impossible for such force to exist. Guan Yu's single phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. Killed Zhang Sun with one halberd. Although Zhang Sun's strength is not as strong as that of Huaxiong, it cannot be underestimated. If that's true, isn't Qin Xu's military strength comparable to his? Cao Cao's expression paused. He seems to have thought of something. Is it him? At present, he quickly turned his head and looked around. At this moment, Xiahou hurriedly ran in. He leaned over to Cao Cao and said, "My lord, big things are not going well. I went to find Dian Wei just now, but found that his camp was already empty." Cao Cao patted his thigh and let out a sigh of regret in his heart. He has long coveted Dian Wei, a peerless warrior. Unfortunately, Dian Wei recognized Qin Xu and refused to follow him. I thought. After driving away Qin Xu, he was able to subdue Dian Wei. That's why Xiahou went to recruit. But who would have thought that it would still be a complete defeat? Chapter 9. The Lost Shadow Horse and Cao Cao's Collapse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cao Cao was filled with regret in his heart. I knew so early. Whatever he said, he had to go and intercept early. It's a pity to be a fierce general. Yuan Shao raised his eyebrows and looked at Cao Cao, wondering. Mengde, what did you think of? Cao Cao suppressed the bitterness in his heart and pretended to be calm and carefree. Perhaps someone else killed Zhang Sun based on his foolish views. Oh. Yuan Shao frowned slightly. Mengde, why don't you explain it in detail? The rest of the people in the tent also looked towards Cao Cao. Cao Cao lightly stroked his beard with an expression that understood everything. As is well known, Qin Xu was a scholar with no binding power, and it was absolutely impossible to kill Zhang Sun. Therefore, there must be another person who killed Zhang Sun. Mengde's words are reasonable. Yuan Shao nodded in agreement. I just don't know, Mengde thought, who could that person be? There is no doubt about Dian Wei. Cao Cao cut off the railway with his nails. Dian Wei. Surprisingly, it's him. Yuan Shao's eyes glared fiercely at the garden. If it were really Dian Wei's, then Zhang Sun would have died unjustly. But soon, his brow furrowed. Isn't Dian Wei in our camp? Cao Cao shook his head and said bitterly. Dian Wei is no longer in the camp. I think it must have been abducted by Qin Xu. Liu Bei patted his thigh in frustration. Dian Wei's courage is not inferior to Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. He has always been quite envious. Unfortunately, despite his repeated hospitality, Dian Wei ignored him. Originally, he was still thinking. After the banquet ended, he went to recruit Dian Wei. Bang! Yuan Shu punched fiercely and hit the table. Dare to slay my great general. Qin Xu, don't fall into someone's hands. Yuan Shao glanced at Yuan Shu, his eyes shining brightly. I frowned slightly and said. Mengde, where do you think Qin Xu will go? Cao Cao had already noticed Yuan Shao's small actions. He sneered. The urgent task is for Qin Xu to escape from afar. Leave the area near Luoyang. That makes sense. Yuan Shao nodded in agreement. If I were Qin Xu, I would definitely escape this place without stopping. Upon hearing this, Yuan Shu immediately waved his hand and said. Someone, follow me in all directions except Luoyang. Yuan Shao and Cao Cao exchanged a glance. They all nodded in satisfaction. Yuan Shu sent troops forward, which was in line with their wishes. As for the direction towards Luoyang, Dong Zhuo is stationed in Luoyang. Under his command, there are also top generals like Liu Bei in the world. And hundreds of thousands of Xiliang iron cavalry and Bingzhou iron cavalry. On the other hand, Qin Xu only had Dian Wei under his command. Even borrowing Qin Xu's 100,000 courage, he dared not go to Luoyang. My lord, big things are not going well. Cao Hong ran in a panic. Jueying horse, it's gone. Cao Cao suddenly stood up and looked at Cao Hong incredulously. Cao Hong, what are you saying? Is the shadow horse gone? Why not? Cao Hong swallowed his saliva and trembled in his voice. I'm not sure either. I just added grass to the Jueying horse, and as soon as I turned around, the Jueying horse disappeared. Cao Cao was completely anxious. The Jueying horse is a first-class 1,000-mile BMW in the world. It's also his beloved horse. On weekdays, he is as precious as life. Serve delicious food every day. But now, fortunately, it has disappeared. Quick, take me to take a look. Cao Cao stumbled outward. Only Yuan Shao and others remained, staring blankly at the scene before them. Cao Cao searched inside and outside. All the members of the coalition army were mobilized again to help search together. Jueying Ma seems to have evaporated from the human world. There is no trace at all. Cao Cao collapsed to the ground. Staring blankly at the sky, murmuring. It's gone. It's really gone. Luoyang City. Wangyue Restaurant. Qin Xu sat by the window on the second floor, holding a wine cup and sipping it gently. A relaxed and contented appearance. Dian Wei stood by the windowsill. He held the black iron double halberd and looked around with a cautious expression on his face. Afraid that Dong Zhuo's troops would come and surround them in groups. Qin Xu lifted the wine cup lightly in his hand. Dian Wei, you can rest assured. Dong Zhuo is currently busy relocating his capital, so there's no time to pay attention to us. Furthermore, we are guarded by the royal guards, very safe. Dian Wei felt a moment of peace in his heart. He filled Qin Xu with alcohol. This brought out the question he had been holding in his heart for a long time. Lord! Young master, why didn't anyone stop us when we came in? Thinking of it before, they walked in so grandly. He still finds it somewhat unbelievable when he thinks about it now. This is Luoyang, the capital of the Han Dynasty. It is the most tightly guarded in the world. Qin Xu looked at Dian Wei with a smile on his face. Did you suffocate it? Dian Wei awkwardly scratched his head. I can't hide anything from you, young master. Qin Xu burst out laughing in silence. Actually, you should ask Zhu Di about these. He spoke and looked up at the staircase. Zhu Di's figure appeared at the staircase. He arched his hand towards Qin Xu and said. Young master, it's already done. Chapter 10. Wang Situ, you don't want to be known, do you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhu Di looked at Dian Wei. General Dian, it's not me boasting. For our royal guards, these are simply as easy as the palm of their hand. He reached out his hand to Dian Wei. General Dian, get to know each other again. My name is Zhu Di, and I am the commander of the royal guards. Our royal guards are skilled in guarding, patrolling and arresting, and are also top-notch experts in intelligence and undercover operations. General Dian is a trusted confidant of the young master. If necessary, just speak up. Dian Wei was completely stunned. You royal guards are too good at it, aren't you? Is there anything you're not good at? Zhu Di shrugged his shoulders. The only thing we're not good at is failure. Huh, that's great. Dian Wei couldn't help but burst out laughing at the words. I'm not good at this either. He stepped forward and hugged Zhu Di. Let our opponents excel in the matter of failure. Zhu Di's expression froze. It seems unexpected that Dian Wei would have such enthusiasm. Qin Xu sipped his wine and looked at the scene before him. He knew that Zhu Di was born like this. Although he has outstanding abilities, he lacks a sense of security due to his suppressed childhood. Very few have the same enthusiasm as Dian Wei. But this is at least a good start. He murmured softly. Calculating the time, it should be around now. Dian Wei's attention was immediately drawn. He let go of Zhu Di and hummed. Young master, what are we doing here? Zhu Di, on the other hand, was wearing a royal guard and hiding in the dark. Qin Xu gently shook the teacup in his hand. Slightly uttered 2 words. Waiting for others. Wait. Wait for others. Dian Wei's face showed a puzzled expression. Does the young master have an old place in Luoyang? Qin Xu waved his hand. There has never been the old. Who is that young master waiting for? Dian Wei's doubts grew even greater in his heart. Waiting for the right person. Qin Xu raised his eyes and looked into the distance. If what I expected is right, fish should also be hooked. Dian Wei scratched his head, somewhat puzzled. Qin Xu only sipped his wine lightly, but he didn't speak. In a moment, a smile appeared on his handsome face. Pointing to the end of the street, he chuckled lightly. Look, isn't that coming? Dian Wei widened his copper bell-like eyes and looked hard towards the direction pointed by Qin Xu. I saw 2 people rushing towards me in the distance. It looks like there is clearly 1 master and 1 servant. The 2 of them walked hastily, looking anxious. They came to the restaurant panting heavily. The person turned their head and looked around first. Seeing no one around, he carefully adjusted his clothes. I just stepped into the restaurant. Dang, dang, a sound of footsteps echoed from the stairs. Qin Xu held the wine cup and took a gentle sip. Wang Situ, since you have arrived, please come up and give a speech. A slightly aged voice rang out in the hallway. I have heard for a long time that the Qin army had no last resort, but upon seeing it today, it was truly remarkable. As soon as the words fell, a skinny old man appeared at the staircase. The newcomer has a thin and weak physique. But on one's body, there is a strong aura of being in a high position. Beside him, there was also a butler. Wang Situ praised falsely. Qin Xu sat calmly in his seat without any intention of getting up. Just nodded with a faint smile as a gesture. Wang Yun looked at Qin Xu and secretly expressed surprise in his heart. Is this Qin Xu who repeatedly plotted and defeated Dong Zhuo repeatedly? Sure enough, you have a talented appearance. What's even more rare is that Qin Xu is so young. It's true that heroes emerge from youth. If there were more Qin Xu in the world, why worry about Dong thieves not being eliminated? Especially now. Faced with him, the grand court attendant was able to sit so steadily. This kind of mentality really doesn't look like a young man. Wang Yun couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Qin Junshi is indeed well-mannered. I admire it to the fullest. Qin Xu remained noncommittal and said calmly. Wang Situ Gui is the current Situ of the court, holding a high position of power. It's rare to have time to meet this idle person like me. Dian Wei's whole body trembled, and an incredible expression appeared on his face. Wang Situ. Situ of the current dynasty. Isn't that one of the 3 dukes? The lord waited, but it was actually him. Wang Yun's face darkened and he said coldly. Qin Junshi is indeed very brave. With one's own strength, Dong Xiang was defeated step by step. Even now, I dare to venture into Luoyang city alone. Don't be afraid of me, will you attract Mr. Dong? Dian Wei's heart trembled. This Wang Situ has come, hasn't he really brought Dong Zhuo's minions and teeth? He held a pair of black iron halberds and looked cautiously down at the restaurant. Qin Xu raised his eyes and looked up and down at Wang Yun. He took a light sip of the wine and said nonchalantly. Since I, Qin, dare to come, I am confident that I can fully retreat. He turned his head to look at Dian Wei. Dian Wei, you can rest assured. If Wang Situ wanted to catch us, he wouldn't have come to the appointment. Dian Wei. Wang Yun looked up at Dian Wei. Under Qin Su's command, this person named Dian Wei looks very sturdy. I'm afraid it's not easy to give. Is this Qin Su's confidence? Wang Yunxiang suppressed his emotions. His eyes narrowed slightly. In my city of Luoyang, there are hundreds of thousands of heroic soldiers. There is Liu Bei, the world's top general. There is also Dong Zhuo, who personally takes charge. Qin, what do you really rely on to come alone? Qin Su put down the wine cup in his hand. His lips curled slightly. Wang Situ, I believe you have seen that little note, haven't you? I think you also understand the meaning behind it. Chapter 15, Yuan Shu, is just a dead bone in a tomb. Big. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Su shook his head. I appreciate Wang Situ's kindness. However, I have become accustomed to idleness, but it is not suitable for staying in Chang'an for a long time. Upon hearing this, Wang Yun let out a light sigh. That's right, sir. If you stay in Chang'an, it will waste your talent. I don't know where to go, sir. Although I am not talented, I can still contribute my humble efforts to the master. Qin Su's mind twitched. Wang Yun's current position is not simple. Dong Zhuo dislikes domestic affairs. Nowadays, almost all of Ying's domestic affairs are controlled by Wang Yun. If Wang Yun takes action, it's hard to say, we can really get him an appointment letter. My thoughts are spinning in my heart. The expression on Qin Su's face remained unchanged. I am preparing to go to Pegua this time. Pegua. Wang Yun's expression froze for a moment. His face was full of doubts. Why did you choose Pegua, sir? Qin Su didn't hide anything and spoke frankly. To be honest, I am from Pegua. It has been a full 16 years since he traveled across the country. And in these 16 years, except for these 6 months. For the rest of the time, he lived with his father in Pegua. More importantly, Pegua is the ancestral hall of their Qin family. Inside are enshrined their Ying family, all their ancestors. Emperor Ying Zheng, of course, was also among them. But it has been destroyed in countless ways. Wang Yunran murmured to himself. But it turned out that the gentleman was also from Pegua. He was slightly absent-minded, with a gloomy expression on his face. Qin Su was somewhat surprised. Wang Situ, what's wrong with you? Wang Yun came to his senses. He let out a long, bitter sigh. I opened my mouth and wanted to say something. But when it came to my mouth, I swallowed back what I had originally intended to say. He changed the tone of his conversation. It's nothing. I just thought of Pegua's old friend. Speaking of which, my old friend's surname is also Qin. Oh. Wang Situ is in Pegua, and there are also acquaintances with the Qin surname. Qin Su was even more curious. He and his father have been living together in Pegua since childhood. I haven't heard of any wealthy individuals with the Qin surname. I heard that my old friend's surname Qin is in the territory of Pegua. But for the past 20 years, I have been searching everywhere, but there has been no news. Wang Yun's face was very ugly. His eyes were filled with pain. Su is, he no longer exists in the world. All these years of anticipation have come to nothing in the end. During the conversation, 2 lines of muddy tears flowed down my face. Qin Su was even more curious in his heart. Can Wang Yun show such a look? That Qin surname old friend must be very important to Wang Yunlai. Wang Situ may as well explain it in detail. I can also help find 1 or 2 on this trip. Wang Yun's face showed a clear expression of emotion. He opened his mouth. I don't know what came to my mind, but when it came to my mouth, I didn't say anything further. Just a light sigh. Well, let's not mention this matter. Wang Yun raised his hand and wiped away the tears on his face with his sleeve. This matter is a matter of great confidentiality for their Wang family. If there is a leak, I'm afraid their royal family will face the disaster of annihilation. Zhu Lianjiu clan, they are all light. He belongs to the Wang family in Taiyuan, which is a famous and prestigious family. Nowadays, it has been passed down for hundreds of years, carrying a special mission. But it will be destroyed in his hands. Although he is married to Qin Su. But Wang Yun was cautious. I still haven't leaked this matter to Qin Su. Let's first establish a good relationship with Qin Su. Later, decide whether to tell Qin Su about this matter. Wang Yinxin's mind turned slightly and had already made a decision. Since Mr. intends to go to Peguo. If Mr. Qin doesn't give up, I will invite him to the position of Prime Minister of Peguo. Upon hearing these words, Qin Su couldn't help but feel overjoyed. The Prime Minister of Peguo. Isn't this equivalent to a county magistrate? If he could sit on the position of Prime Minister, isn't he the sole ruler of the entire Pei Kingdom? In this way, isn't it that his foundation in the Great Qin Dynasty has a base area? The future is promising. The sound of the system also echoed in Qin Su's mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the Qin Guiyun mission. Base area, Task objective. To obtain the position of Prime Minister of Peguo and take the entire Peguo into his hands. The reward for successful tasks is unknown, and there is no penalty for failure. Qin Su bowed to Wang Yun with an arched hand. So, thank you, Prince Situ. Wang Yun held Qin Su's hands tightly. Mr. Qin doesn't need to worry. When I explain to you the situation in Peguo, it's not too late for you to make any further calculations. He spoke quite solemnly. Qin Su knew Wang Yun's meaning and did not refute it. Wang Situ has something to say, why don't you just speak up? Wang Yun spoke confidently. Originally, Peguo was located in Yuzhou, which was the hinterland of the Central Plains and bordered the second largest county in the world, Runan County. Mr. Qin's trip to Peguo is a good choice. However, the current situation is different from before. He let out a sigh. Mr. Qin must know that the governor of Yuzhou is Kong Qian. And the Prime Minister of Peguo was also concurrently held by Kong Ju. But in fact, Kong Qian is just a nominal governor of Yuzhou, and the true controller of Yuzhou is Yuan Shu. Since the death of Yuan Wei, the head of the Yuan family, Yuan Shu has inherited the Yuan family. Although he has not yet succeeded to the position of the head of the Yuan family, he has actually become the head of the Yuan family. The Yuan family had 4 generations and 3 nobles, and there were many old officials from the same family. Nowadays, most of these people are following Yuan Shu's side. Moreover, Yuan Shu was stationed in Nanyang County and Yuzhou, with strong troops and horses under his command, and his actual strength was extremely strong. He looked at Qin Su with a worried expression on his face. Qin Su smiled faintly. Yuan Shu is just a dead bone in a tomb.